I would have played with Joel right up from, it would have been every other year because I'm a year older than Joel, right from novice to junior hockey. He was sort of a smaller kid until probably Pee Wee or Bantam, and then all of a sudden one summer it seemed like you seen him the next time and he was bigger than me. So it was, I think it was the second year Bantam when he was out here. You could tell he was improving every year. And one thing with Joel was he always had that shot, and if you can shoot like, he almost shot like a pro, if that's what you know what I mean. I'm not sure what a pro shot is, but he shot like a pro to me, you know what I mean. And he still does to this day, and he's 42 years old. But he was one of them guys that he loved winning enough to seem like he got better and better every year. And like you said, there's lots of late bloomers, and he was 100% one of them. And I knew we were waiting for him when we drafted him into Truro the following year for him to come to Truro, and he jumped into the junior A just like it was. You know what I mean? He was ready to go at that time because of his size and his will to win and get better.
Joel was an impact player, I think, right from jump when he got to Truro. Went there quite a bit. At that time, the Bearcats were really high on a few East Hants kids. So Bryant Fraser and Mark Thompson played on that team the first year. So my father and I would go watch the Bearcats quite a bit. When it comes to Joel, the first thing I remember is just his compete level in junior. Just wanted to win, would do anything to win.
When I started with the Bearcats, I came in for the Eastern Canadian Championships for the Fred Page Cup. So that was my first look at Joel and the team. And then I took over the next season full time. There was actually a local boy here that was the captain when I first took over, and that was Bryant Fraser. And then when we moved on the next season and I was full time with my first full year, I guess I took another local guy from here as the captain.
The big thing the second year was a pretty special year for us because it was Joel and I were there, and then at Christmas time we acquired Mark Thompson. It was a lot of fun having the three of us together. A funny story that year, we had a road trip up to Campbellton, and I remember everybody knew that something was going to happen. Campbell had some fighters, we had a few guys too, and the puck dropped, and that was it for us. We all got kicked out. There was quite a big brawl, and the funny part was all three sets of our parents made the 6-hour drive up that weekend to go, and they seen the puck drop, and that was fuel lit for that trip for them. So it was that was one of them ones that you'll never forget.
Joel was, and I coached with the Bearcats 20 odd years, and I don't remember every play or every player, but I remember Joel, and Joel was not well liked by the opposition, well earned. He was my favorite player at being third man high in the offensive zone as a forward. He could step in, he could see all of the zone, so he could step in offensively, and he was also a predator standing there, which was my favorite part, because if you come out of the zone or you had your head down, he was waiting, and he was darn good at it.
For Joel, I can remember being at the rink, and he would throw a hit, and you could hear it throughout the rink, right? There's a couple different things that you can do as a player to make an impact. I mean, you can score a goal, you can make a save if you're a goalie, or you can throw a massive hit. And Joel threw a lot of those in his junior career and made a huge impact physically.
He had to stick up for his teammates and for himself quite often because of it. And then probably, just because he was, Joel Eisner with the reputation, he was busy.
He also, he chipped in offensively as well, don't get me wrong. He was always in the top 5 or 8 in scoring on that junior Bearcats team. And I just remember the fans always having his back. And I think a big reason for that is, like I said, he was willing to do whatever it took to be successful at that level.
Well, what makes a good captain is somebody who's reliable, somebody who is very consistent in his mannerisms day to day, somebody who that his teammates can count on both on and off the ice, somebody who showed up and fought till the end, someone who took losing not well. That was Joel. Joel was respected by everyone. He was respected by his teammates, obviously respected by his opponent, which was important for me. And somehow he managed, with all his, predatorial play out there, good and bad, actually no bad, just the way he played, he managed to keep his minor penalties down. Okay, so he didn't take cheap penalties, which I always respected from the captain, who was physically engaged a lot of the games, a lot of the time. The AUS is a big jump, and it's really, really good hockey, whether it's AUS, CIS, whatever conference it is. It's damn good hockey. There's some really, really, really good players.
Yeah, especially with the Acadia Axemen. At that time, I mean, they were a stacked team. They had 2 or 3 former Mooseheads captains. They had Josh Dill, who was a prominent player in the queue. They even had a kid that came back from the AHL to play on that team. So to make that team was a huge accomplishment.
There's nothing easy about making that jump like he did to that. That's a level way bigger jump than junior A is. And plus you're dealing with guys that are 4 or 5 years older than you. You know what I mean? And that's not easy when you're only 21 years old doing that stuff.
You know what? Joel was always smart enough to figure out his role and figure out how to get some ice time. Smart guy. Some players just are stuck in how they play, or this is all I know. He's a little more intelligent than that.
It was a playoff series. Acadia was expected to win that series. They lost game 1, I believe, and they won game 2. Well, the article in the Chronicle Herald at the time the next day was Eisner makes impact in game 2 with physical play. So it wasn't necessarily about the power play goals that the former Mooseheads captain scored. It was about the physicality and the impact that Joel made with the way he knew how.
Joel was one of those guys, when you were pitching to Joel, he wouldn't chase a bad pitch. It would have to be a pitch that he wanted. Like, he wouldn't just swing at a pitch for the sake of swinging at a pitch. And if you got him a pitch that he wanted, he usually hit the ball hard or put it over the fence.
I've never seen a player hit a ball like Joel. When that bat connects, it's a thud, and it's usually a line drive somewhere in the gap or over the fence. He's a prolific hitter, always has been. I think if you ask Joel, his biggest accomplishment, or the one that he's most proud of, is the Canada Games team. He was the captain of that team and the flag bearer for the entire province, and then led by example. And I think the rest of his teammates jumped on board, and he took them to a silver medal.
Well, I knew of Joel because of his hockey exploits, really more so than his softball. And I was named the head coach of the junior men's national team. And we decided that we were going to have the tryout camp here in Nova Scotia, piggybacking on I think it was the U18 or U19 men's nationals in St. Croix. And because I knew of him and had heard of his reputation as a good athlete, he was one of the athletes that we identified to be invited to the camp the following week. And of course, he went on to make the team and then to play very well for us in Australia the following year.
Just to have the opportunity, especially coming from Nova Scotia, you look at those national teams, especially in the softball part of it, it's made up of a lot of Ontario kids, majority of Ontario kids, and throw in some Saskatchewan kids, and for an opportunity to come for someone from here, at that time especially, it was very impressive.
I think one of the advantages that kids from the East had when I was in the role is that I was going to make sure that our best athletes had a very good look. Tommy Doucette was another individual that was part of our staff. We were going to make sure that the kids in Atlantic Canada were equally considered. No favoritism, but to make sure that if we were comparing a kid from the prairies and a kid from Nova Scotia, the kid from Nova Scotia or Atlantic Canada wasn't undervalued because they didn't play in a larger province. But the reality of it is I don't believe that it would have mattered who coached that team. I think Joel's performance at the camp and Joel's performance at the World Championship spoke to the fact that he was equal to and capable of playing on that national team ahead of anybody else in the country, and he went out and proved that for himself. I know how difficult it would have been for the Brookfield Elks in 1980. I know how tough it was on teams that I played for. In 1994, our Keys team played in the national final, lost to Saskatchewan. So I remember, reading the newspaper or watching online to see that the Mastodons had won in 2017, and how happy I was for all of them. Because unless you've been there and you understand how difficult it is to compete against the rest of the country with a smaller province, and to know how close you can get and still not quite get there. Like, they've accomplished something that may never be accomplished again by another Nova Scotia team.
When Joel won the national championship with the East Mastodons, I think we all felt pretty gratified for him, because I think he was probably the only one of our crew left from our age group that was still at it, at a high level. For them to win that meant a lot to this whole community, especially the softball guys that put in a lot of time with the kids and all the way up through. That was really highlight for them guys, and we're all proud of them.
And there's a sense of urgency that comes with knowing that in terms of your own mortality in the game, that you're towards the end of it, your better days are likely behind you, and to know that you get the job done when you still can contribute and feel as though you played a contributing role. It's an exceptional sense of satisfaction, and so I'm very proud of him when I think about the journey from 2001 to 2017. You know, that's a lot of years of chasing a prize to finally get it. So I'm very proud of him for that.
Always proud to be from East Hants. So to win that tournament at the national level with the East Hants Mastodons, I think was a highlight for him, if not the biggest highlight for him.
I know I remember seeing a picture of Carl and Joel together at that senior men's after they won, and we all had a good chuckle. I think Dad did as well, because they've been through a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm sure Carl wasn't shy there at those things, and I'm sure that bunch wants to win bad enough that that would have meant a lot to them, and it was pretty awesome to see.
Congratulations, Joel, on being inducted into the East Hants Sports Hall of Fame. You've always been a winner. This is very well deserved, and I'm proud of you.
Joel, I want to congratulate you on not only a wonderful softball career, but a wonderful career in sport and in leadership and in doing all of the right things in your community. Very proud to say that I know you, very proud that I had the opportunity to coach you, and congratulations on a very much deserved recognition tonight.
2025 East Hants Sport Hall of Fame inductee, Joel Eisner.